Hello everyone, so I will be discussing my favorite books that I read in 2018. So let's get started. The first book is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. I was shocked at how much I liked this book. At first I thought it was just going to be like a cute romance novel, but it was something much more. I connected with this book more than I thought I would. This book is about Liza, and in real life she is shy and she doesn't have any friends, but online she has close friends and she writes this popular webcomic anonymously. One day a boy named Wallace, who just transferred to her school, sits next to her, and she finds out that he is a popular fan fiction writer of her webcomics. And he kind of brings her out of her shell, and she begins to see the value of life outside her online persona. But one day her secret comes out and everyone finds out that she is the author of this webcomic, and things just begin to fall apart. From this description, I really didn't think that I was going to like it. I thought, it's just going to be another cute YA book, but I heard great things about it, so I decided to give it a try, and I'm so glad that I did. It does have that cute romance aspect that most YA novels do, but this has so much more like mental illness. Eliza suffers from anxiety, and so I kind of connected with this character. I thought the dynamic with her and her parents were similar to what a lot of people with anxiety go through. Her parents kind of push her to join clubs and get out more, and they think that they are helping her. But for Eliza, sees it as an insult because they don't understand her and what she's going through with her anxiety, and they don't understand her online life and how that is where she really thrives. I think that it's great at the end that they started to discuss more and understand each other, and understand that Eliza does have great things going for her, that she doesn't need this social life outside of being online to thrive. And because of this, Eliza starts opening up more to her parents and connecting with them instead of just running away. I really liked her relationship with Wallace. I'm so glad that it wasn't insta-love, that they had a foundation and they build upon it. And I really like that he understands her anxiety, and he's willing to work around it and not giving her crap about it and just letting her be herself. And I thought that was beautiful. The second book is All Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. This is a true crime novel about the Golden State Killer. Michelle tragically died while investigating this case, and so she never really got to see the killer get put behind bars. This book really shows how important this case was for her. You can see all the work she's done and how important it was. And I really liked how she focused a lot on the victims, and that she told us a lot more about the victims than just how they died. She told us about their lives before they became victims. And that's what I really enjoyed. This is just more than a true crime novel. It is about a majority of Michelle's life that she put into this book. The third book is Howls Moving Castle by Diana Jones. I loved this book. It's about Sophie, who is the oldest daughter of 3, which means that she is destined to fail if she tries to leave home. She works at her family business while her other family members get to go off and live their dream. One day she attracts the attention of the Witch of the Waste, and she casts a spell on Sophie that makes her old. And because of this, Sophie feels ashamed and she doesn't know who she is anymore, so she leaves home and she ends up in the wizard Howls castle. I thought this was a very fun book. I loved the world of magic this author created. Sophie was one of my favorite characters, especially when she got old. When she got old, she was very unapologetic. She just said what she wanted to say. Before, she was afraid of what people thought, but then once she was old, she really didn't care, and I loved that about her. The movie adaptation of this book is amazing. It is different from the book, but I think they did a beautiful job of recreating this world. So I do recommend both the book and the movie, especially the movie because of Calcifer, the fire demon, and I just loved Calcifer in the movie. The fourth book is Armada by Ernest Cline. If you like Ready Player One, because I know for a lot of people Ready Player One is a hit or miss, but if you liked it, then I recommend this book. I actually liked this book better than Ready Player One. So this is about Zach Lightman, who plays this online video game called Armada. And one day at school, he kind of sees this spaceship that kind of looks like a spaceship in the game Armada, but no one else in his class is seeing it, so he kind of gets scared that he will end up like his father. His father died when he was only 19, and Zach was a baby. He died at work. But before that, his father would write in these notebooks about all these conspiracy theories about movies and video games and alien invasion. So when he saw this spaceship, he kind of thought that maybe he would be going crazy like his father. But one day, the spaceship lands in the middle of the school parking lot, and his boss from the video game store that he works at comes out and takes Zach away. And he explains that Armada was a flight simulator for a real alien threat, and that the game was to recruit pilots. So like Ready Player One, it had a lot of pop culture references, but I liked it more in this book because I thought it was more authentic. In Ready Player One, I thought it was just thrown about just to make people like this book, but in this, it seemed like it had a purpose. It explained that since a long time, the government put in these alien invasions in movies and games because they were trying to get the people ready for when it really happened. And also because Zach's father died when he was just a baby, so he never got to know him. So he would watch all the movies his dad liked and listen to the music his dad liked. And so we got to know his father through those things. So the pop culture references seemed more personal, and I liked that. I listened to the audiobook for this book, and I am so glad I did. Will Wheaton was the narrator, and he did an amazing job. He really brought the story to life. I was laughing and I almost cried at parts because he made these characters real for me. And so I highly recommend you listening to the audiobook. And the last book is The Archived by Victoria Schwab. This is my least favorite book that I've read so far of Victoria Schwab, but that is only because the other books I've read were just so amazing. So this book is still great, it's just not as great as her other works. This is about Mac, who is a keeper, and her job is to capture histories and put them back into the archive, which only the librarians are allowed to read. The histories are the dead. They look like real people, but they're not really them. They're just their memories. And sometimes they escape because they get disturbed. And so the keepers have to get them and then put them through the doors to the archives. I'm probably not explaining it right, but that is why I think you should read the book so you can get the full picture of what this place is. To get to this archive place, there are doors everywhere, and only the keepers have the keys to it. And no one else can see these doors. And I think that's so interesting that every place has a door, because every place has history to it, a history of someone's life and death. And I think that is very touching that every person leaves a mark on this world, no matter how much they did while they were living. So I just love this world she created. It's just so interesting to actually think about. However, this book isn't perfect. There are a lot of unanswered questions, and there is kind of a love triangle. I don't want to give spoilers to it, but there is kind of a love triangle. But the concept and just thinking about the world that Victoria created, I didn't mind about the other stuff. But if you kind of get bothered by plot holes, then you might not be able to get lost into the story. So just think about that before you want to read it. So those were my favorite books that I read in 2018. Tell me your favorites. And like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Bye!